Oh, hey guys. Chris and Sis back again.
Hey guys.
And today, first we're going to start with our disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
These
are the inner workings of our minds. We are not professionals. We are just sharing our journeys.
Even though you're kind of a professional chameleon with that hair today.
I am. Look.
In the last video, you were right in the tree line.
Now you can't see.
Where'd you go? Today, we actually want to dig back into foster care a little bit, which was the original intention of starting this channel in the first place. And we got discussing, we've been on a really spiritual topic for a while, and we haven't discussed much why we're here in the first place, you know? So, we're going to talk about, let's just take it all the way back. I was first introduced to the system when I was 6 years old, and in and out most of our lives until the time that we were teenagers. And it was very infrequently a pleasant experience. So this is somewhere that a lot of children end up. I would like to know the exact percentage before I rip on that a little bit. I do not have that information.
We don't.
But
we're just sharing our journey through it, our perspective through it, and that's where we're at.
Point being, realistically, a lot of children, and I'm sure a staggering percentage, end up in the system at one point in their lives. And unfortunately, the majority that end up lifers in the system end up with not the best, to use an analogy, not the best on-the-job training for adult life.
Yeah.
We had to learn a lot of things on our own, or figure out how to learn things on our own, figure out how to figure things out. We weren't taught really.
I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Which I know everybody, like, in their adulthood, like, we're not trying to take away from anybody's experience. This is just, like, primarily foster kid experience. This is how we've had to figure things out. We've had to learn. I learned a lot off of TV.
Yeah, really? Isn't that ridiculous?
Movies and TV.
Oh, that's such a real thing. TV set up that way.
Yeah.
And, you know, just having each other to bounce ideas off our entire life has helped. We always had kind of the concept of right and wrong.
And we were really lucky to have our siblings in foster care. Like, I can't imagine just what the only child feels like in there, and not having anybody in the home that they know.
Yeah, we probably couldn't have done it the way that we did it without each other. It made a really big difference. And so we learned from each other a lot over the years. And just the treachery of the system, the fear of, as a child, I don't know if I'm going to have food, I don't know where I'm going to sleep, you know, swapping schools all over the place, just no stability, and entering your adult life not understanding stability, it made things difficult.
I remember the first time I got my own room. Do you know how hard that was? Do you remember that? For me, because you and John, you know, I remember the first home we went into, she was like, you can't sleep with them, they're boys. And I'm like, those are my freaking brothers, and I've always slept in, like, the same room or same vicinity as my brothers. I'm in a strange home.
Because the system, believe it or not, likes to make things weird.
Yeah. Which I understand it, too. When you have so many different boys and girls in a home, that's what you have to do. But, like, just my attachment to my brothers, the only things I've had throughout my entire freaking life. I wasn't in my home. I didn't have any of my things. And now I can't sleep in the same room as my brothers. The first night she allowed me to. The second night is when I got my own room. So I felt so alienated. I was upstairs in my own room, and it was strange. It was all strange. And then that was like our final time being in foster care, like our forever being in foster care. I was 12, you were 15.
Yep.
John was 9.
9, yep. 3 years apart.
And then
that permanence, it wasn't so bad once we accepted it, but to be completely honest, it wasn't until we were at like this can't get any worse than this point that we actually wanted to enter into the system on purpose. I mean, this is the point that we're living in a really bad neighborhood. We were in an apartment.
We were squatting in an apartment.
Yeah, like
we broke back into
not have
it.
Been there. I didn't know if I could directly go out and say that, but let's just
Straight.
We did. We broke into an empty apartment, and we lived there for a couple of days with no heat, no water. And our dad was in jail. His girlfriend was doing very questionable things to make money with no regard to our presence. And we're just watching all this happen, and we look at each other like,
I remember at one point she
No.
was like, she offered me an alcoholic beverage. I'm like, I'm 12. I'm 12.
just begging us, please don't leave, you know, like, I know you're going to school, but please come back tonight, like, you know. And that was
What's sad
was the end
though
of the
is
line, man. We
even our
couldn't do it
social
anymore.
worker at the time did not listen.
He didn't believe me.
He didn't believe us.
I called this guy and told him directly, this is what's going on. We're living here. This is the situation. If you need to come check it out, fine, but we don't want to go back. I want you to find us at home tonight. And he told me on the phone, Chris, I really just think you're exaggerating. There's no way it's as bad as it is. Dude, seriously?
Like, do you not know that our father is in state custody?
Right. Literally, yeah.
How do you
Like, you
not
don't
know
have
that
access to
about
that
children
information?
that
So-
you're supposed to be looking after?
I did the obvious thing to do in that situation. I Karen'd. Went straight to his boss and was like, man, all right, I need some help. Really, I don't need, you know, unreasonable help. I just need someone to do their job. And come get these kids out of this situation, please. But the point that I was originally trying to make here
Yeah, sorry.
is that, no, it was a good riff, you know, because that really kind of shows where we're coming from, you know,
Yeah.
ourselves. Until that moment, we didn't want to be a part of that system. We'd been in the system before. We'd have been in and out of the system several times.
Yeah.
And to just kind of put in perspective how terrible it is to live in this system that we have set up that's supposed to be better for our kids. We, at one point, lived in a single room, efficiency apartment with one bed, one couch. The three of us, our father, another woman that he knew, and her two kids. And I would prefer to do that without water or electricity compared to live in some of the better foster homes that I've been in. And there are good homes, do not get me wrong, but most of the system is just not all that great. Now, we had finally better luck by the time that we were done. We ended up in a very, very good place with
Yes.
people that cared about us, and thank whomever for that,
For real.
because it was a welcome end to a lot of just struggling and trying to figure things out.
That was the longest I think that I remember being in a home.
Yeah.
That was my childhood home. And I was only there from 14 to 18.
I kept a
And-
real count with my mother did this for the first several years of my life, but I kept a real count of how many places that I had lived in, how many times I'd moved. And this could be like, you know, we had no place to stay, so I'm staying in a hotel this day and we're moving and we're squatting with somebody here this day, you know, like I counted all that.
Hotels.
Yeah.
Did you say hotels? Sorry, I
hotels.
was like going through my brain.
Absolutely, yeah. We
We
lived in
lived
hotels a lot.
about hotels for probably about 6 months.
Hotels, yeah, just bouncing around.
Yeah.
My number by the time I reached 18, when I graduated high school, was 109. I'd lived in 109 different places by the time I was 18 years old. Like,
And-
stability was,
Difficult.
yeah, it just wasn't something that I understood. This is the first time in my life I've had any form of stability. I've held the same job now for 6 years, and I've lived where I live now for 4 years. That's the longest amount of time I've spent anywhere doing either one of those things, and I am grateful. I'm blessed. Now I have an understanding. I've learned a lot, and you know that's like one of the bigger things in life that you don't expect to have to learn these kind of lessons. But like, it's good to just know what it's like to be, you know, in the same spot,
Yeah.
to kind of have, yeah, some form of stability.
I'm still searching for that. My living situation is whoop, 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 whoop. I'm gonna buy a camper, and that's where I'm gonna be someday. Me and my cat in a camper, and then like I can go wherever, and it's my home on wheels, and we'll just see how that goes. Because I'm not ready to settle down either. I don't know if Missouri will be my home. Probably not. Been here a long time, seen it all.
Camper's an acceptable life. Well, I personally
Yeah.
like Missouri. Pardon me.
Yeah. I don't know.
They're on the system.
Yeah. What do I want to say about it though is
There are good families.
there are good families. Like our final family, our adoptive family, they had a lot of work to do, and it was not easy. They're was like a good 2 years where I just remember I was just mad. And this is something I hear a lot of about foster kids, is when they get into the home, like they're kind of awful. Like when you get teenagers in your home, they're going to be a little awful.
Yeah.
Because like us, we were allowed to just do whatever. We were allowed to like run around. We didn't have anybody watching us.
Yeah, I never had rules, never got grounded, never had a curfew. Did whatever I wanted the entire time I was a kid. It was fortunate that I didn't have a criminal record by the time I was 18.
Yeah. And then once we got into the home, you know, we had rules. We had food that, man, that food was good.
Good food.
Like
yeah.
real good food. Like real mashed potatoes. I will never get over that.
You don't have to eat TV dinners or stuff out of a box. You don't have to eat out of a microwave. Remember the first time we had real mashed potatoes? Did you just say that?
Yeah.
Man, delicacy. I am telling you. People make real cake sometimes.
Yeah, the food was wonderful. And then they taught me how to make that food. And I was like, all right. Didn't like it. But then once I was like, this is, yeah, it was something like I wasn't used to. Like, here's this thing that you haven't been taught that you do need for adult life. And I was I was always a child that had a mouth and always had something to say. That's always been me out of the brothers. I'm not gonna lie, I've probably chewed out every single parent we've had.
You called our
That's me.
You called our caseworker a beaver. You told me it looked like a beaver.
That's so mean. That's name calling.
Yeah,
we don't
we've
condone
grown.
that. We've grown.
All right.
But like,
we were troubled children.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of this. We weren't perfect in any way. No, we had a lot of things we had to work out.
Yeah.
We used people. We did things we did not have to do. I take the blunt force of the blame for that. But we did what we had to do. And that's the whole point. That's what we want to convey.
That was really hard to like realize as we got older too. I was like, man, like the way we actually treated people.
To accept that we were bad people, and then at the same time try to understand and help ourselves be okay with the fact that we just did what we had to do to survive and to stay together. That was the biggest thing. They wanted to split us apart. They wanted to tear us apart. Like,
they don't normally keep 3 kids together in the system. That's really, really hard. So we were fortunate to have the 3 of us.
And we were grown. That was the hardest thing. Nobody wants to take
Nobody wants 3 teenagers.
Yeah.
But we were so bonded.
Yeah, like we had already lost so much in life. Taking us away from each other was absolutely not an option. I wasn't going to let it happen. It wasn't going to happen. It was unacceptable. And it never did happen. But in order for that to never happen, we had to do some things that we didn't want to do. Nobody got physically harmed.
No.
But,
it's just words. But that was something that we were taught as well, manipulation.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of things we've had to unlearn.
I don't like looking back on those days for many reasons, but definitely the way that we had to live, like survival mode.
Yeah.
And it's not a pretty place to be, and I'm glad that I'm not there anymore, and that we don't have to be those people, and that we've learned. And it's also like, none of us have children yet, and
Who made that a point?
Don't know why that is or what it is, but there's something about me that's like, I don't want to be in a place to where my kids ever have to experience something like that, and so it terrifies me to even have kids.
Could be the experience of trauma that we went through, because as kids it wasn't a pleasant experience for us.
No.
We've many times said to each other, why are we even here? Like, this isn't fun. This is terrible, but so did we want to put somebody else through that? Like, no, I don't think it would be like that. I know it wouldn't be like that. But
it wouldn't be like that. It would be a struggle, but that's why I've wanted to go out and get my education before I have kids. Like, I want my kids to have a stable ground. Or, like, I might even adopt at some point. I've thought about taking in teenagers like my adoptive parents had, because if they would not have, where would I be at in my adult life?
Absolutely.
I could have aged out of the system and never had a family to go back to or support system. Besides siblings, we are still in contact with our biological mother and some of our biological family, aunts, uncles.
Whatever's left.
Yeah. But it is nice having my adoptive parents to go back home to. The stability there.
Yeah. It is nice to kind of always have some place that you can call home.
Yeah.
We never knew that. And, we got that now.
Yeah, we do. We have a really good support system, and I don't know what else I can really say about
No, I'm not
foster
done.
care life.
There's plenty more.
No, I just.
Previously, we
Yeah.
never had anywhere that we could just say, if something really bad
I feel
happened,
like I
you had
have
nowhere
to
to go. You
filter, like, some of it still. I'm
To a
still
point,
in
yeah,
a
I
mode
mean-
with it because it's.
We're still traumatized by it too, to a point. We haven't healed from every single bit of it. It's our
No.
childhood. It's who we are. It's who we've always been. You can never escape your past, but I fully believe that any traumatic experience you've ever had, with enough understanding and unlearning of the patterns that caused it to happen and the things that you went through while you were there, understanding, working through those, processing those suppressed emotions, that you can look back on negative experiences and just kind of smile and be like, you don't control me anymore.
Yeah.
I've learned so much from what I went through that I'll never be that person in that situation again.
Yeah.
And now I'm grateful because I had those, for having those traumas or having the opportunity that came from them. And that's a lot of how we got to where we are today, from where we grew up, from our upbringing, which is what we felt the need to share with the world in the first place anyways, because there's just not good statistics for families like ours, all making it and being decent human beings, living lives, and supporting ourselves,
I
not
probably
causing
only
trouble.
know of maybe 1 to 2 other foster kids. I actually went to school with one when I went to college, and her story too. But it's nice, like, it was actually interesting. My massage class, there were 3 of us that were foster kids in it, and it was really crazy to all meet up in the same class like that.
I'm not
And
sure
to
I
be
knew that.
able to talk to them and have people that actually kind of understand it, because when you go to all these different schools, people are like, it's a new kid.
Yeah,
Like,
always a new kid.
yeah.
I went to 3 high schools. That's a 4-year period of time. And I went to 3 high schools 5 times.
I think I went to every single elementary school in Cape besides like 1.
Yeah, me too.
Like, but I didn't always have like the same friends, people.
3. I went to 3. But
Yeah.
then there was the middle school, the junior high school, the high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
All
was
those.
never there for long.
Man, I knew all the kids. But it's cool. I mean, in this area, I know people my age in every single town I go to. I'm in Jackson right now. I run into people I know in Jackson that I haven't seen in years because I went to school with them here. It happens all over the place. I was at work one day getting a, delivery, and the guy driving the delivery truck I went to high school with in a different town. Like, it was really cool to make those connections, Like,
Yeah.
I dig that.
But
Yeah, we make the most of things now.
that's just a little bit more backstory into it. I'm glad that we've had this opportunity to talk a little bit more about it. I'm not really in that way of thinking much anymore, identity with it. I used to hold it as an identity because there wasn't really anything else. Oh, who are you? Oh, I'm this foster kid.
Yeah.
And like, I held on to the identity of foster kid as a trauma more than I held on to it as like a part of my story. And now I am at a point where I just look at it and it doesn't really faze me. And even when people end up hearing about it, they're like, oh, you don't seem like a foster kid.
Right.
And I'm like, I guess I wonder, like,
What does that mean?
what does that mean?
Yeah, but we know what it means, and that's the reason that we're here, because we don't want foster kids to have to feel like they're foster kids.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody to go through that or feel like they're alone, feel like there's no hope just because there's things that they don't understand, or they haven't been taught things that they need for the future of their lives. What we're trying to say is, there's possibility, there's potential.
There is.
It's, I don't want to inspire any bad lessons here either.
No.
That's just the thing. We have to make the world a better place. We have to make the system a better place. There needs to be better people, better families, and really, like, the people that are doing these jobs, you shouldn't be able to just walk in off the street and get a job like that.
And
These people
also,
didn't have the
if that's
educations,
your
they didn't
only
care
job,
the right way.
like, there are many foster parents I met that, like, that's all they did.
Yeah.
They didn't have anything, like, it was their source of income, but also you're paid that money to spend on the kids as well. That didn't really get spent on the kids, like, in the homes I went, in a couple of the homes I went to.
No, there were 2 or 3 of them that,
Yeah.
the rules were, this is your room, and I'll tell you when it's supper time, and, I don't want to see you.
And you
Like,
gotta ask for a snack, and
Yeah. There was
It's-
one home that we were in that they had, I remember this because it made me really sad. we were the new kids, and they had like probably 7 or 8 kids living in the house, and they all went to watch a movie together late at night. You could smell popcorn, like they were all in there watching a movie, and they put the 3 of us to bed.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and we're laying in here in these bunk beds with the door still open. I can see the light in the hallway, and we're probably 10 feet away from the TV. You know, hallway, there's the living room. And they're sitting in the living room with all their kids watching TV, and we're just back here in bunk beds listening to this family
Was that
have
the
fun
house
together.
where they had, the guys had one
It's
bathroom
so
on this
sad.
side, the
Yeah,
girls had
I
this
think it
bathroom?
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the younger placements before our permanents.
Yeah, I do remember that place faintly.
Don't be those people.
No.
If you even somewhat like children and don't have them, please foster. Like, do it for a year. You know, just like it. The system needs good people that care.
Yeah.
It really, really does. I'd like to be one of those people one day, and I have to be ready enough. You know, like I always say, if you're going to do anything in your life, never wait until you're all the way ready, because you'll never do it.
Yeah.
And that's a real thing. But like, if you've considered it, please, it's not hard to get your license. Like, and if you have any questions, call me. Come talk to me at work. Like, just, I don't care. Like, kids need good people, good influences, and patient people.
I actually have a couple of my classmates that do it, and it makes me so happy. Like, just to even see the little stories that they post. Not a lot of information about them, of course, because they are in the system, but just to know, it makes my heart happy. And like, I know those kids they're having the time of their lives there. They're in a place that they probably will remember. There are some homes, I'm gonna do a little shout out, I don't know, the Bostics.
They were fantastic.
They were fantastic. They were an elderly couple.
No longer with us. But
No longer with us. But Miss Irene, man, she had one heck of a time with me. Always me. I was a trouble child.
You were.
But I was going through my little goth stage at the time, and she told me, no, you can't wear black nail polish. I'm like, well, why not? And then Christmas, we went to one of her family's Christmases, and they had like the pass the gift around thing, and somebody had brought black fingernail polish, and like one of my friends ended up winning it, and I just remember, like, after that, my friend like gave it to me, and then Irene came up to me and she was like, yeah, I bought that, I was hoping you would get it. Yeah, she did that. And she's this little tiny old white haired lady. It's all
Her hair touched
put
the
up
floor.
nice, like
She would braid it and like
beautiful
wrap it all
blue eyes, like. And then Charlie, her husband, he was a little squirrel hunter, and man, he was funny.
Big old dude.
He taught me the part of the potato that you eat, the
part of
the
potatoes.
outside,
What?
the outside of the potato. The nutrients are there.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
What is that? Is
That's
that the
where the
rind?
nutrients
I
are.
don't
No,
know.
I
That's
just
called
these
right
are
now.
like the little things
The
I
peel,
remember
the peel,
about
the
them.
peel of the
The
potato.
peel of the potato.
So there are obviously, you know, like we're saying, there
Yeah.
were pleasant experiences too, but like few and far between. Those were like a vacation from what was terror in the world of we just want to survive and be kids, please. The whole system needs reworked. And we did what we could to survive, and we made it.
And we
out
didn't
to
even
be
have the worst
what we are
experience.
now. No, I mean,
Like,
no,
I mean, not compared to others. I know that.
I knew kids that had worse experiences. I heard some things that I'm
Yeah.
glad I didn't experience that I wish nobody else would have had to experience.
But
And
for any of you that know anything about the system, CASA worker. Our CASA worker was the one who ended up adopting us. And how beautiful is that?
CASA, court-appointed special advocate. That is
Yep.
somebody that volunteers to go and like meet with children that are in the system that are too young to have their own voice, because you still are not allowed to legally speak for yourself when you're in the system.
Yeah.
You can tell your appointed lawyer what you want him to say, but most of the time those are just state-paid people that don't listen to a single word that they're being told. They do whatever is convenient for them, and you're just another number to the system, you know. And that's what we were. We would go in, I'd tell them, you know, I'd like this, you know, this is what our goal is, and then you come back out and, well, this is what I could get done, and here you go, this is what's going to happen. Like, the kids need voice. Like,
Yeah.
if you can't adopt and you have the time to do something like that, it's wonderful, it's helpful. Like, it really makes a difference in the lives of, you know, whatever kids you're speaking to. Like, just to know that my voice mattered and I was being heard and that somebody was fighting on my behalf, that gave me the willpower to be able to do
And it's
more.
a volunteer basis program
Yes.
too.
CASA, Court Appointed Special Advocate.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Really good program. Really
Yep.
helpful to kids. I know this one's really, really long. I don't even care.
I don't either. This is a little bit longer because of our story.
Yeah.
But I think that's about all I have to say. Do you
That's-
have anything more?
That's good for right now. We might come back and do a Halloween episode on the terrors of things that we
Oh
saw.
my god.
I'm probably kidding. Maybe. I don't know.
We'll see. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. It's a long one. If you made it through,
Thank you. We
Thank
appreciate you. We appreciate you.
yeah.
Since this is the second of our day, anyways, we figured we would just offer some clarity as to why we're even doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because there is a
Yeah.
point to it, It's
I'm really
important.
hoping there are some foster kids and like figure out where these videos are, like happen upon them. I like to even like reach out and meet people, meet
Yeah.
other foster kids, and kind of see like, is comparing traumas like a, or just like to sit down and talk about them,
As long
like
as you-
like-minded, like
Yeah.
not per se like trauma bonding, but being able to sit there and just like, hey, we've both had it, like,
To reach a common
Yeah.
understanding and help somebody else heal from a trauma that you also had, but
yeah,
they haven't healed yet and they don't understand how to heal from it.
yeah,
That's what it's about.
Just
We
to
can
be
talk
heard.
to normal people having normal problems on an everyday basis, but like kids don't have a choice, They need our help, and
Mhm.
a lot of them, their parents aren't going to do it. By the way, shout out to great parents.
yeah. Thank you, guys.
I know a lot of people that are really good parents. You are what's right with the world. Thank you. Please keep on keeping on. Inspire and, be that light to the people around you. Be that
Yeah.
good example, because the world needs you and you are appreciated.
There was a really cool dad that like saw us about to start a video, and he's
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry guys, and he's like looked down at his son and he was like, you want to race? And he's like, yeah. He's like, all right, let's race.
They took off running so
And
they
then
wouldn't be
like,
in
took
camera
off,
shot.
so they
It
wouldn't
was
be,
so cool.
It was so sweet.
It
Like
was-
it was just wholesome.
Yeah, it was neat. Like, right before we started shooting, too.
Yeah.
So, any questions, comments, anything, we're always willing to talk about it and discuss it, and we want to kind of
Yep.
get the word out there, and I'm seriously, I just want kids to know they're not alone.
They're not alone. And hopefully when they get out into the adult world, they start finding their pathway a little bit. I do have faith in the generations, the upcoming generations. I really feel like we're all trying to change, and we're fighting for that change, and
We're moving
we're
mountains.
we are.
We're pioneers of human decency.
Not that like I don't know.
I meant what I said.
Yeah. Yeah. They're yeah.
We're
All
out
right.
there.
Okay.
Much love and appreciation to all of you.
Love you guys. See ya.